All right, Scott, I get it. I need to find a niche in order to make this whole thing work. How do I find a good niche? Aren't they all kind of taken? There isn't any available anymore. Here's the deal. In order to find a good niche, I don't care if people have already done it. I don't care if it's saturated. All that I care about is that there is demand in this market. That's all that I care about. Everyone has an opportunity in a niche. You just have to be different. So, yes, you will have to have really good designs if you're doing print on demand, or if you're doing digital products, you have to have really good digital products. It's going to force you to really have good quality stuff. But when you are looking for a niche that you can build a brand in, you want to make sure that it has demand. So I would rather go after one that's really saturated and know that, okay, all I need to do is figure out how to get more attention. And if I do that, then I know that I'm going to get more sales. Like, that's what we need to be focusing on. So another question that I get a lot is like, well, how do I find that niche? How do I do it? The very first thing that I would recommend, this is how we've always done it. In any business that we've built, we've never built a brand just because it was this opportunity, right? We've never done that. Okay, where we're like, we're just going to go on crypto because it's a great thing right now and everyone's talking about it. Like, I have no interest in it. I don't really know enough about it, and it just doesn't jive with me. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to ask yourself, you need to do some self-inventory and see what is it that you feel like, you know what? I could do this every day. Like, I really enjoy this niche. And a way that you can do that is start unpacking a little bit of what you're into. I always start there. If you are someone that crochets all the time, okay, great. What are you crocheting? Right. And you're like, well, I'm doing sweaters and I'm doing this, or maybe you're doing stuff for babies, or, and you really enjoy that. That's where I would start. I would say, okay, the baby niche is really saturated and there's a lot of competition, but maybe you have a unique angle of you. No one's going to replace you. No one is going to be able to be you. The reason why I say that is because you can have designs that either you create or you can have other people create. You yourself can be a better product researcher, right? And find little pockets in the market. So to me, you want to be interested in the niche if you can be. All right. And if you're not, someone else. Now, for me, I'm very fortunate that my wife and I, we like a lot of the same things. So when we're going into something, a lot of times it comes from something that we're doing, something that we're into. And I'll give you an example. So my daughter is into beach volleyball. If I was thinking to myself, like, could I do something in beach volleyball? Is there enough demand? Is it big enough? And it might not be. But what I could do is I could start there, and then I could start to branch out and go into all of the other sports for youth. So now I took something that, okay, I'm interested in this thing because I love the sport. My daughter's into the sport. I know the things that we're buying her. I know that a lot of her friends and teammates, they have all these sayings around beach volleyball. So maybe I could create some really cool stuff for that. And then I could branch out and do these little sub niches that would be maybe for, I don't know, youth baseball or football, right? And I'd be catering to the youth market. So that's just the way that I always think about it. And if we were doing that, well, I'd be interested in it. My wife would be interested in it. My daughter would even probably want to contribute, right? So now everybody's kind of thinking of like, what could we come up that's really cool, that's really fun? And then we would start to explore what's already selling. Is there anything selling? If there is, what does it look like? Or maybe here's another idea. And I know I'm kind of hyped up here because I'm coming up with ideas on the fly. Is what if I said, you know what? Let's find something that's doing good in another shoulder niche, as we call it. Like maybe it's football. Maybe there's a football saying on a shirt that's, and I'm not talking about like NFL stuff because that's like trademark that we would never do that. I'm saying like just a saying about football, or something about maybe having grit or something, right? And and you know that a kid would want to wear it, but it's really selling well for youth football. Well, I could take that same maybe concept and idea and bring it over and do it for beach volleyball. So I'm kind of borrowing something from another niche that's doing well and bringing it over and adapting it to my niche. If you are struggling to find a niche, that's what I would do. I would go through and take inventory of your life and what you're into. If you're into woodworking, there you go. If you're into gardening, there you go. Oh, but Scott, isn't there already a lot of people doing gardening? Yes, but maybe they're not doing it like you. Or maybe they're not going to do email marketing like you. Maybe they're not going to do SEO like you. Maybe they're not going to be as good of a marketer. So there's a ton of opportunity there for us to not just have the best product, but to also be a better marketer. That's what I would recommend in doing if I was just starting over again, because that's how we've done it. Start with yourself. What is something that you would enjoy working on every single day? Don't fear away of the competition, because you're never going to find a good niche that doesn't have a lot of competition. I would rather have this massive pie of competition that I know there's money flowing, and all I got to do is just find a way to get in there a little bit instead of trying to find these little hidden micro niches. So I want to go bigger. I want to know that I've got potential and I've got room to grow. That's what I would say. If anyone right now is struggling, if that's you, if you're struggling to find a niche, that's where I would start. And then once you do find that niche, then I would go ahead and start building that out, creating your product line, doing email marketing, doing your SEO, but then using Etsy ads, and then having amazing customer support. And if you do that, now you've built a true brand, and you're going to have repeat customers. People are going to be happy because why? You're the go-to now. You're the go-to for these types of products in this niche.